Wake up, wake up. It is May the 12th, 9:12, 9:13 on the West Coast, 13 minutes afternoon back east. If you're not awake back east, man, you got no excuse at all. But get up.
Yeah, it's a real late wake up. You have more than slept in if you're on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us once again. It is great to see you. Hit like and subscribe to both channels if you would, please. And Larry, we like to take care of those who take care of us, which means thanks to everyone in advance for your supers, your likes, your comments. It makes the channel grow, makes the live stream grow. And thank you for taking care of our sponsors. Thinking about a little lunch today? Check out Ike's. If you're ordering for your office, boy, you're on the West Coast, check out Ike's Catering. And if you need a place to watch Game 4 tonight, whether to celebrate a victory or drown your sorrows, the Dubliner West Portal, great bar. The kind of bar, Larry, that will allow you to bring, some tasty barbecue in, if that might be your idea.
Well, then you can stop by Pig and a Pickle on your way in and check them out. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So don't show up at 7:45 thinking you're getting your pick of the litter. But, man, fantastic restaurant. You're going to love it. Pig and a Pickle. The brisket's amazing. It's all amazing. Get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. Thanks to Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264. Also, thanks to Mancini's. We got a brand new Mancini's read today. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Mancini's Sleep World. It's the huge Memorial Day sale is live now through June the 9th. So you can save up to $1,200 on select adjustable mattresses. Plus, they're throwing in an extra 10% for Krug Show fans off with your promo code Krug10. So that's right. Type in Krug10 at the checkout. And if you've been thinking about upgrading your bed, now's the time. Just make sure you jump on it before June the 9th. Once again, use Krug10 and you'll save an extra 10%. Also, thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades and LearnKey Upskill Academy for sponsoring the Krug Show as well. And the links are in the description for all of our sponsors. And if you want to help the show, help the sponsors.
Hey, Larry, we also love people celebrating their birthdays with us. We got Red Jet. Happy birthday to me. She gets Z snaps whenever she shows up. Red Jet was at Game 3. We cannot pin that loss on her. She did her part. This is Matthew right underneath Red Jet saying, "What's up, fellas? It's my birthday today." So there you go. I'm going to give everybody a little birthday hat right there. Happy birthday to you from Damon and Larry. Now,
happy birthday to everybody.
Larry, let's get into the main subject here on the thumbnail and everything that we got going on. The question is, you want to go to war with the wide receivers that you had and explore the rookie class, some of the younger guys, or do you need another trusted veteran? And it appears a veteran is in town. He flew in yesterday. I don't know if he met with the Niners yesterday or is meeting today. Gabe Davis is apparently in the Bay Area. This is a guy, Larry, who played really well in a good situation in Buffalo, had an awesome postseason in 2021. And then he played less than well in a bad situation in Jacksonville, where, find me the Jaguar who had a great year last year. 27 touchdowns over 4 years with the Bills. Got signed by you-know-who, and then things started going wrong, Lowry. He played 10 games, caught 20 passes, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, tore his meniscus, and that was all she wrote for his time in Jacksonville. Gabe Davis meeting with the 49ers. How interested are you?
Interested. You don't have Ayuk, you don't have Debo, Ricky Pearsall. Everybody loves to cite what Ricky Pearsall did in the last 2 games. How about cite what he did in the previous 6 games? Yeah, what that was, he did nothing. So, we can all hope on, hope is not a plan. We can hope that Ricky's the guy. We can hope that Cowing's the guy. But until they're the guy, they're not the guy. And standing today, they're not the guy. So that's, I would say, a major concern for the 49ers is who is going to be on the outside at receiver, because you can't wait until November to start winning games. You can't be like, well, you know what? We got Ayuk, but he's not going to be back until Thanksgiving. So we'll just hang loose. No, you'll be hanging out. You'll be done if you wait for Ayuk. So this is what you have. You have Juwan Jennings, great guy, tough as hell, slow as shit. You have Ricky Pearsall, who's in year 2, and
a mega question mark.
He should be a whole lot better. He should be a whole lot better, but who knows? You just don't know. Jacob Cowing did very little last year. I really thought Jordan Watkins, the rookie from Ole Miss, looked good in the minicamp. They signed Demarcus Robinson, but he's likely to miss the first 3 weeks because of a DUI suspension. Everybody else, like Trent Taylor, is not NFL. Tariq Owens is not NFL. Russell Gage is no longer NFL. So you can put a line through those 3 guys. You have Junior Bergen, who's a really good return guy, who's a 7th-round pick, who's probably going to make the team unless he really falls on his face.
Isaiah Neyor got positive headlines from this weekend.
Well, he had the highlight. It was a go pattern down the right sideline, and this guy's got 4.4 speed. He's 6'4", 220. He's got 35-inch arms. He's got 40-inch vertical, and he needed all of that extension to get this pass, Damon, that they let him. It was almost like one of the coaches said, "Hey, man, we got this freak of nature sitting here. Lead him, and let's see if he can go get it." Because one of the
high point, this son of a bitch.
It's like, let's see what we got. It's like, right. and it was like, I forget which quarterback it was. I think it might have been Mordecai, but he truly let him. Like, I would say he let him, Damon, 5 yards past where he probably should have normally been his catch radius. And this guy saw the ball in the air, had that extra juice, extended his 35-inch arm, kind of leaped out there and made the catch and kept his feet and kept running. It was the highlight of the day. So,
he didn't fall down and get up and
no, he didn't. No, he didn't dive. He caught it. He caught it dead run though, full 35-inch arm tipped right to him. So it was a beautiful catch. It was the highlight of the workout. I mean, that or Corey Kiner had a really nice run. But so you get Junior Bergen and you get Isaiah Neyor. And then the wild card here is Isaiah Hodgins, who also is a Bay Area kid. He went to Berean, played at Oregon State, played for the New York Giants, has had some brief success. He's not a burner. He's not a fast guy. He's a possession receiver only who can work the sideline. But he's big. He's 6'4", 6'5", with great hands. So you have, let's see, Pearsall, Jennings, and then you can't count Ayuk. You can't count Robinson, at least initially. I don't know that you can depend on Watkins, though obviously he's going to make the team. He's a 4th-round pick. So there's 3 receivers. I don't know what Cowing's going to be, but maybe he makes the team. He was last year's 4th-round pick. So that would be 4 receivers. And then I would say Bergen is probably your 5th receiver. And my guess would then be Isaiah Neyor would be the 6th receiver or a practice squad guy.
Right. Which, you haven't heard Demarcus Robinson yet, but he's in the mix.
He's in the mix, but like he can't be there initially.
Right.
So like back to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, I really liked him in college, right? He played at Central Florida. The Bills drafted him. He's an interesting guy, Damon, because he's big. He's a big-bodied guy. 6'2", very strong. But he really doesn't have that burst off the line of scrimmage that makes you go, ooh, look at that receiver. He's never really had it. And he's got kind of tight hips, but this has been a very productive player. I mean, the guy had multiple touchdowns 5 times in 2019 as a college player. You mentioned what he did in his amazing 2021 performance in the playoffs against Kansas City. He's a big target. He's had outstanding production, and he's played down the field. He's made plays down the field. He doesn't have great 40 time. Like he ran for the stopwatch Damon 4.54, which is, pedestrian. And the 10-yard split was 1.56. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good 1-yard split or 10-yard split at 1.56. And a pretty good lower body explosiveness, 35-inch vertical, 10.4 broad on a 6'2", 216-pound receiver.
By the way,
I like him.
Are these just did it measurements? You going back to the combine for this? Because you're down the road from those numbers, so
yeah, but so he's not faster. I mean, right. None of these guys are faster. My point is he's probably a 4.6 40 guy now, and so he's not a burner. So if The Niners needed speed, and they got it in Jordan Watkins, and they have it coming back in Cowing. This doesn't represent that, but now you've got every box is checked. You got your go pattern guy, you got this guy, you got that guy. Now it's time to, all right, we're going to play in week 1 against somebody who's going to actually line up. And this guy's got a good catch radius. He's really smooth, burst at the stem, so he gains ground. He's not a run after the catch dynamo, Damon, so don't expect, throw it to him 5 yards and watch Gabe Davis go the distance. No.
Well, and again, he tore his meniscus last year, so
yeah,
I don't want to call him damaged goods or anything like that. But here's the thing. Well, I sign him if I'm the 49ers too.
Work him out. I mean, find out.
You want to take a real good look at him, and if you like what you see, you go ahead and sign him. And look, I'm not trying to put Kyle Shanahan in a box that he's never going to get out of. But what is past is prologue. And what you know about a guy, you either assume he's either changed dramatically philosophically or he's the same guy who he always was. Kyle Shanahan is reluctant to put any first or really even second-year wide receiver out on the field with full trust and faith and getting it right and running the offense. These guys are far and few between. I could see Kyle Shanahan not falling in love with everybody who plays wide receiver on his team. So, yeah, bring in Gabe Davis. You got the money to do it. I think there's an incentive to do it. I think it's the player that, again, Kyle prefers veterans. He feels like it's a better fit. I don't even know if he's always right about that. Like, there is a part of me that wants to say, hey, you're the ones talking about going young. You're the ones talking about wiping your slate of, irresponsible spending and just getting back to normal from a monetary standpoint. Go with your young guys. Trust in your farm system. Trust in your scouts and your drafting. But Kyle doesn't, I think, want to do that, Larry. So I would bring.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Damon. I don't know if he would have. In my opinion, he would have played. He would have played Ricky Pearsall.
He would play him, right?
I think if Ricky Pearsall had not been shot and he had been ready to go, I think Ricky Pearsall probably would have played right away. He's not. I mean, Kyle, first of all, is very, very tough on the quarterback and the receivers and the running backs. I mean, Bobby T's really tougher on the running backs, obviously, but Kyle, as a former receiver, is very tough on the receivers. And he's very tough on the quarterbacks, and his expectations are through the roof. They're very, very high.
It's why the 49ers offense is pretty damn good, even when it's not even that good.
Well, I wanted to show Gabe Davis's game log because to me, there's nothing, we can talk about this and that, and he's quick out of this and that and this 40 and this time. But this is really where the rubber meets the road. This is what he did last year. And this is for Jacksonville, okay? So you're looking at it, and you can see there's some injuries there. These are the late in the season games. The early in the season games are on the bottom. But, I mean, the most targets he had was 8, and that was against your Bears. And he had 5 catches for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns against them. Those were the only 2 touchdowns he scored all year was against the Bears in London. He did not score a domestic touchdown last year. He was only international. Okay, but let me show you this though. So that's 2024. So not great, right? 20 receptions on 42 targets, 239 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Right. It's not very good.
But here's the thing: terrible year for Jacksonville.
Right.
How many of those games has he got a backup QB throwing to him? Not even Trevor Lawrence. And even when it was Trevor Lawrence, his year stunk last year. So.
And they also had Brian Thomas Jr., their rookie receiver. They had some other guys. But here, let's take a look at the year before. Because the year before is when he was in Buffalo. And look at this game log. Okay, so this game log starts in September down here against the Jets. 4 for 32 yards, not great. Week 2, 7 for 92 yards and a touchdown against the Raiders. That's pretty good. Week 3, 4 for 35 yards and a touchdown against the Commanders. That's pretty good. Week 4, 3 for 61 and a touchdown against the Dolphins. That's pretty good. That's 3 touchdowns in the first month of the year. Then he had his first 100-yard game against Jacksonville. Probably why Jacksonville signed him, right? 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown.
What I saw that day, and I wrote his name down in an envelope.
He beat me. If he beats me, can do it for me. Anyway, but then you look at the rest of it's 4 for 21 against the Giants, not great. But then there's a 12 catch game against Tampa for 87 yards and a touchdown. That's damn good. Or 12 target game, I should say, 9 catch game. He had a 6 for 105 performance against the Eagles in overtime in November in Philly. So, I mean, if you're wondering, hey, can he do it with all those loud Eagles fans? Yeah, he could. He did it against the Chargers. He had 4 receptions for 130 and a touchdown. So, as you can see here, if you put him with Josh Allen in that Bills offense, he had 300-yard days, and he caught 45 balls for 7 touchdowns. It's only a year prior.
Look,
we're only talking about we're talking about a young kid too. We're talking about a relative. Isn't he like 26 or something like that? He's not very old.
Well, you got his page up right there. It'll tell you right at the top of it.
Well, let's see. He was born April 1st of 99. Yeah, so he's just turned 26. He's young. That's a young receiver, and he was good in college, Damon, with good ball skills. So I kind of like it. He's
his run blocker. I guess I haven't watched enough Gabe Davis film when he's not
big.
getting ball. I don't know. Because if he is a dedicated to the craft run blocker, he's on this team and probably starting week 1, right?
He did fail his physical, which is kind of the same reason that the Niners cut Drake Jackson. So they signed him. They gave him a big amount of money. Let's see. So they released him, and it triggered $20.3 million in dead money over the cap. Okay, let's see. Yeah, he was 26. He's 26. He signed a 4-year, $5.7 million rookie contract, and then signed another contract for 33. He signed a 3-year, $39 million contract, and he had base salaries of $1.5 million and $12 million in the final 2 years of the deal. So it was kind of one of those deals, Damon, that was signed knowing that they were going to cut him eventually, because that $12 million was backloaded.
Right.
But either way, he's a big receiver who doesn't run great, but has very reliable hands, can play the X boundary outside receiver, making plays down the field. He's not an Ayuk dynamic as far as speed. Ayuk was, pre-injury was faster, but they're in the same neighborhood. They're in the same ballpark. It's not like they're one guy's, molasses. So I like it. I mean, if you said to me, what do the 49ers need now and now, of course, the question is, the Niners want to go to the playoffs. What do they, and make a Super Bowl run? What do they need? I actually don't think they need very much at all. I think they could possibly use more help on the perimeter at receiver. Another proven receiver like this would be great. I mentioned Romeo Doubs the other day was a name that was being bandied about as a trade rumor, but somebody like that. This is a very similar type player. And then on defense, I would say 49ers are going to be very, very young, very, very young. They may have 6. You may see Mikael Williams, C.J. West, Alfred Collins, Marcus Siegel, and Upton Stout, and Nick Martin. 6 of their 11 defenders could be rookies.
Could be at some point on the field that could happen for sure. Probably not your starters, but yeah, that you are going to see an injection of youth defensively like really never before in a Kyle Shanahan's team or a season that he's coached. I got this from Anthony in the chat saying Gabe Davis sucks. Okay, he doesn't suck. But here's the thing. It's absurd to debate this much about a guy coming from a season-ending knee injury who's always been mid outside of one playoff game 4 years ago. Look, Anthony, the 49ers are at the point in the season where perfect is not available.
Well, it's May. I mean, there's no we're doing a Niners show, and we're talking. They've already had the draft. They've already had free agency. Now they're not looking to build walls here. They're looking to have finishing touches, and this guy would be a very nice finishing touch. Now, nobody's saying he's going to walk in and be a superstar, but this guy has, he's got 29 career touchdowns. 29. How many of the 40?
More than how many active 49er wide receiver? I mean, Kittle's above that, right?
what's I'd love to know here. What's Ayuk's career? What do you think Ayuk has for career touchdowns, if you had to guess?
Say like seven, low 20s.
Low 20s? What I just say whatchamacallit had?
29.
He's got 25.
Okay. Mid-20s.
Ayuk's got 25. And Ayuk came into the league, his first year was 2020.
Right. By the way, 45 career touchdowns for George Kittle.
They both wait a second. They both came into the league at the same time. He's got more touchdowns than Ayuk. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, shut the fuck up. So you're going to get mad at us for talking about Gabe Davis? Shut the fuck up.
You don't know shit. Today. It's headline today. What should we be talking about? Next year's draft? Or getting ready to play this year of football?
Seriously, and this guy's awesome compared to the average person that's going from team to team. I mean, what are you talking about? That's what I would say.
There you go. Let him have it, Larry.
Oh, I mean, what the fuck? What are you talking about? We do a Niner podcast. The 49ers are looking at a receiver who would be their most successful, accomplished receiver to date.
Right.
And you're making it seem like it's nothing. He's got better numbers than Brandon Ayuk. And then they could get him for absolutely nothing, just for cash. And you're, what are we talking about?
Spicy on a Monday. I like it.
Bro.
Like and subscribe if you like spicy Mondays on Wake Up. I like it.
No, I mean, I'm seriously, I've been set off and I'm biting people's heads off. No, but I mean, come on, dude. Don't be some contrarian. Don't be some Cal the contrarian rolling in here like you've got all the knowledge. You don't know shit. You don't know. You absolutely know nothing.
Let me ask you this. Rookie minicamp. Saw a couple guys out on the field, but not nearly the collection of guys who were drafted, right? Hardly any drafted players got out on the field. Larry, can you riddle me why there was so little drafted participation in rookie minicamp, which is sort of the opposite of, I guess, what introductory rookie minicamp is usually supposed to be?
Well, I guess you'd have to explain what you mean. I was there. Only guy that I saw that didn't practice was Alfred Collins.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why. There obviously something physically going on. He showed up to the
calf for Collins?
I don't know, because he showed up. I'll say this, man. I really hope. I didn't hear that. I really hope, because he showed up to the Texas Pro Day in a walking boot, and now they're saying calf. I really hope that's not Achilles. I mean, I really hope, because that would be, you want to take the optimism away from the 2025 draft class, have Alfred Collins go down with an Achilles. So that concerns me. I didn't hear that it was a calf. I didn't know what the injury was, but yeah, he wasn't there, but or he was there, but he wasn't participating. He was in his jersey, but he didn't participate. But Mikael Williams did, and Nick Martin definitely did, and your guy CJ West definitely did, and definitely the running backs were there. Watkins was there, so I think they were all there. The only I would have thought that maybe some of them would have sat out if they were unsigned. But obviously they didn't, because I think CJ West signed after the camp. He might have signed in the last day or two, but he was out there, so he must have signed some waiver.
Okay. So I had it from a story that was yesterday. By the way, so when you are a rookie on a rookie deal, your rookie deal is covered should there be an injury to you before you even sign your contract to get out there. This is why the Isaiah Stewart holdout in Cleveland is ridiculous.
I mean the Shamar in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Isaiah. Yeah, I'm getting my Stewarts wrong.
You're getting your Ohio cities wrong too. Shamar in Cincy, not Isaiah in Cleveland.
I got that all wrong. Maybe I should take a day off.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know that one, Damon, because they made it seem like he took it off because of the contract. But as you stated there, what you stated there, I think is correct, which is I think there is some agreement that once you're drafted, I don't know, actually, though. I don't know. How could that be? How could you possibly be covered without signing your contract? You're just saying part of the CBA or something like that?
I think so. There's an agreed upon insurance level of guaranteed to maybe it's not the entirety, but your first year anyways. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But all I know is that you want everyone out there as soon as you can get them out there, of course,
Yeah.
and you want guys looking good early. And having said all that, it's just first impressions. Like nothing
Sure.
that happened at this mini camp matters to the upcoming season, really. It's just the team getting their first look at the guys, and hopefully, you make a good first impression. That's all you want to do when you get out there. And again, getting to Isaiah Neyor, it sounds like he stole the headlines from everybody with the best first impression made.
Well, he definitely had the flashy play. He definitely had the flashy play. But as far as the guys who look good, I'll give you a few that really jumped out to me. One, Isaiah Neyor, just because of what we described already, just big, strong, fast, really intriguing. And, we'll see. I would imagine he's very raw as a receiver. He doesn't have a lot of production. He's probably a practice squad guy, but he could be a very, very interesting practice squad guy. Upton Stout, the young corner who's like 5'9". I mean, he's just so explosive. You can see his movement ability, Damon. It's like he so stands out. He is in a field of great athletes, he stands out as a greater athlete. He looked really, really good and was explosive all throughout the day and moving around on the field. The other guys that stood out, the Niners worked out. It wasn't even, they had a couple guys on a workout. They had this one kid on a workout named James Burgess, who's a 6'2", 188-pound corner who played at Alabama State. And Damon, I swear to you, if you had watched this guy, and if I had said to you, that was the 49ers first round draft choice, you would have watched a couple plays and said, hey, he looks pretty good. I mean, that's how good this kid looks as far as just watching him. He's a gigantic corner. I mean, 6'2", 6'3", really long arms, but great narrow hips and ability to mirror a receiver. And he had a couple of plays. This guy's a great star from the HBCU school, Alabama State. There were a couple plays where he showed unbelievable man-to-man coverage skills. So I don't know if the Niners saw it. We'll see if they sign him. Right now, he's not even on the roster. He was there for the workout, though. I would expect he'll be there this summer in camp. Remember that name, James Burgess Jr. from Alabama State. He looked really good. And that's a position of need, as we just said. They need some perimeter help, and this kid is a jumbo corner who can play. Jordan James looked pretty good, kind of quick.
I mean, you really can't gauge too much of what any defensive lineman or offensive lineman look like in these first days because it's so non-contact at those positions, really. But
or running back, you can't. I mean, like I just said, Jordan James looked pretty good, and he did. He had a nice little catch on one of the balls.
Shadow touches,
but it's running backs at this juncture. But Corey Kiner did the rookie from formerly of LSU and went to Cincinnati, and the Niners signed him as an undrafted player. He had a great spin move at one point, and that's his like patented move, and you could see it. I mean, he's explosive. We're talking about a running back, Damon, who's 5'9", about 210, and has great contact balance. He looked good. He looked really good.
He was really good at Oregon. I didn't know why necessarily the Niners took him. But
you're talking about Jordan James. I'm talking about Corey Kiner.
Oh,
but they're both basically same body type, right? 5'9", 210. I thought Kiner looked really good. I thought James looked pretty good. Your guy CJ West, I thought looked really good. And when I say that, all I mean was, you're just looking at him working out. The guy's really strong. He's thick, but he's not like thick, so short and pluggy and that he can't move. He's got movement ability. This guy's
you like a leverage McLeverage, Levy McLeverage. That's who he is.
Yeah, he's a leverage McLeverage, but he also has this unbelievable agility side to side for a 320-pound man. He's going to be damn good. I thought he looked really, really good. Drew Moss looked pretty good, and Ben Ware, or I should say Marcus Ware. Ben Ware follows me; it's his brother. But Marcus Ware from Montana State was in this workout. He is one of my favorite linemen in this draft. He was a right tackle at Montana State who's played center. He's played guard. He's a little short-armed. He's 6'2", about 300 pounds. But, man, he was out there. I thought he looked good. I'll be interested to see if he signs before summer. Sebastian Valdez, the big defensive tackle that had enormous workout numbers from Washington, he looked really athletic. Connor Colby, I thought, looked pretty athletic. Junior Bergen looked decently athletic. But I'll tell you, the two guys that really stood out to me, where I'm like, whoa. One was Mikel Williams, who just looks fantastic in the uniform. I mean, 6'5", 270. He's just put together, man.
He's your off the bus guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's really put together. He looks like a first-round draft choice, and he was impressive. But the other guy, and I would encourage all you guys to go take out your YouTube and watch this guy, Steve Linton, who is a defensive end who played at Texas Tech, and he finished up at Baylor this year. And he's a really good edge rusher. I mean, this guy's a good edge rusher. 6'3", about 250, 255. To me, he looked even bigger than that in this camp, like closer to 270. But Steve Linton's film is really, really good from Baylor. And he was a productive player who's got a lot of ability. And if watching him run around out there this weekend, I mean, on Friday, it was amazing. I'm like, Jesus, this guy wasn't drafted, and he had good production, and nobody wanted this guy, and all of a sudden he's just there for you. I mean, this isn't a pretty accomplished football player at Baylor and at Texas Tech. So
guys slip through cracks. Guys slip through cracks, period. And if you're lucky enough to be able to find one of those guys, good on you, good on your scouting department. I'll also say that all day 1-2 rookie minicamp impressions are being made probably against a whole bunch of guys who ain't going to be in the league. So how impressive was it really? Get him out there against real NFL experience. What does that then do? But
they're not even really playing. They didn't wear pads. They're not playing against anybody really.
It's walkthrough stuff, but it's good to get out there, and it gets a sense of everyone getting together and getting on the field for the first time. Somebody says, how come Mikel Williams isn't listed on the roster yet? I don't think he's got his contract done yet, but he's out there, and I like to see that. Did you see what Albert Breer said about Mikel Williams? It was a couple days ago, Larry. He said, quote, I think there's a chance the NFL will rue the day. Will rue letting Mikel Williams get to 11. This was an important draft for the 49ers. They're resetting their roster in a lot of areas, and in one spot in particular, they knew they'd had a lot of work to do, and they got a pretty nice jump in the fall on studying the defensive lineman that would be in this draft. In Williams, who they had high on their list from his sophomore tape, they saw long, strong, heavy-handed athlete capable of toggling inside and outside like guys that they've had play at their big end position in the past. Eric Armstead, Arden Key, and Charles Omenihu. So, if this guy is any of that, it's just going to make the life of this football team so much easier. Imagine being able, we'll talk about quarterback pressure later. Imagine if they were just good against the run. That solves 50% of their problems as a football team. Almost half their problems go away, Larry, if they're just good against the run.
Well, it was one of the areas that was the most disturbing. I mean, if you can't stop the run, all you get is the run. It's like I was watching 2 years ago. I can remember watching the Ravens Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and that game was in Baltimore, and yet Kansas City rolled in there and they beat the Ravens. Well, how do they do it? It's like the Ravens were all geared up to sack Patrick Mahomes. And Kansas City said, no, you're not going to sack Patrick Mahomes. You're not getting these huge negative plays. Why? Because we have a great interior offensive line, and we're going to run Isaiah Pacheco up your ass. We're going to run Isaiah Pacheco through the A-gap all goddamn day, and you're not going to be able to stop it. And then we're going to get to 3rd and short, and we're not going to drop Mahomes back to pass. We're going to let him run. And so guess what, Ravens? You're not going to be able to pin your ears back and hunt the quarterback. So thanks for coming. And then it's going to come down to who's the better quarterback, Lamar or Patrick, and Patrick is going to win that battle every day. And so there you go. That's it. You have to earn the right to rush the passer in the NFL. And that means you have to get it done on first and second down. So yeah, as much as I don't love the Mikael Williams pick, because I think it's a little bit, I'm worried because Robert Beal is an awesome athlete who hasn't done anything, and he played at Georgia and he hasn't done anything. And this guy's an awesome athlete. And he played at Georgia, and we'll see.
He's an awesome athlete who's a full third of a human larger than Robert Beal.
I know, but I mean, the Niners need these guys to come in and play. Like Philly, Nolan Smith ran 4.48 off the edge. He had a down rookie year. He barely did anything. He had a better second year, but he's just now in the second year starting to kind of round into form. It's like the Niners can't wait 2 years for Mikael Williams to do that. They need him to go now.
Look, they got 3 rookie defensive linemen who hold an awful lot of next year's success right in their 6 rookie hands when you add them all together. I mean, they
got to stop the run. I mean, it starts with stopping the run. That was my point. Just that you could have the world's greatest pass rushers, right, but if you don't have CJ West clog in the middle, if you don't have Nick Martin, if you can't stop the run, if all of a sudden, nobody's getting to 3rd and 6 ever, everything's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. It's hard to win on 3rd and short against mobile quarterbacks. It's easier to win if you can get them into 3rd and 10 and you're going up against Jared Goff and he's not mobile and it's 3rd and 10. Now you got a world of, defensive possibilities. So yeah, they had to stop the run. Stopping the run, to me, the biggest issue with the Niners was the point of attack. We talked about it a lot at the end of last year. The point of attack on offense, they can't run the ball for a yard when they need it. They have a Pro Bowl fullback who doesn't do anything. They have a great center, according to them, who doesn't do anything. They've got CMC. They cannot run the ball on short yardage. They cannot run the ball on the goal line, and they don't want to blame anybody. So you got the same fullback. You got the same center. You got the same old guys trying to do what they couldn't do last year, this year. And so sorry if I'm a little not enthused by the 49ers and what they did at the point of attack offensively, but at least they did something on the point of attack defensively. And I think that their improvement should start right there. I will say this, on paper, if Alfred Collins, Mikael Williams, and CJ West can get out there, I like it. I like their
3 of college football's best graded against the run players in the league. Like, you drafted 3 of the best players against the run in all of college football. So if that doesn't translate into you having success against the run, again, this is why the draft is a crapshoot, because the player that you are in college might be absolutely spit upon and run out of the league in the NFL. I don't care who you were. You can win a Heisman Trophy in college and be unserviceable at the professional level. So it's rough out there. This is the only way to describe how hard it is to make this team, how hard it is to be in the league. By the way, since we're talking about point of attack and the running game right here and now, I saw a story that Isaac Guerendo might be drawing some interest by the Chargers. I mean, this is a player that the Niners took in the 4th round last year, and after a degree of success, I think it'd just be crazy to give up on him, especially when you need to feel that Kyle Shanahan system. Year 2, you're supposed to be better than year 1. And
I wouldn't get too exercised about this one. This one is, it's that time of the year,
right?
The draft has happened. Football's king. People who create football media are looking for clicks and content. And so it's a good article. It's the post-draft article that says, okay, now that we've had the draft, let's do a reassessment of everybody's depth chart and find out, who's available. And anybody looked at the Niners and saw, oh, well, they got Jordan James and they got Corey Kiner, and you obviously CMC's the starter. Guerendo could
Might
be
out
traded.
there. No, I don't
Yeah.
think he's out there.
I don't think anybody wants him. I mean, it's not that he's useless or anything. He's fast and everything. But I don't think there's a burgeoning market. There's no market out there for Isaac Guerendo, and there's no reason to trade him. To me, you threw this guy 16 passes last year. He caught 15. That's an illustration of his unbelievable ball skills and hands as a receiver. He is a great receiver. Now, he's a terrible running back. And if you don't believe me, go look at the numbers. He runs up the back of his offensive lineman. He can't read shit. He's a terrible fucking running back.
84 carries, 420 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he's fast and he's going to bust one. But as far as actual hit the right hole, he doesn't do any of the things.
I've seen one season out of him in we all agreed upon it. That didn't fit very well season. I'm looking forward to year 2 of Isaac Guerendo.
Yeah, but
his instincts will get better and improve, and he hits that hole a little bit better and doesn't run so straight up and down and up the backs of his, But
he wasn't born on draft day. He had an entire college career before draft day, and it looked exactly the same. That's why the guy only had one career start. There's a reason, these teams in college, they like to win. They like to win. If this guy was awesome, he would have started a ton, but he wasn't. So he didn't start at all until the bowl game, even though he's big and strong and fast. Now, he's still big and strong and fast, and he's got great hands. I'm not sure why they don't use him. If it was me, I would have cut Juice, added an offensive lineman that could kind of moonlight as a fullback from time to time.
Well, I thought Luke Farrell was going to be that guy.
Who?
The tight end. The tight end that they signed.
Well, I mean, whatever. He's a blocking tight end, but I'm just saying I would have not signed Juice back, and I would have gone with Guerendo. I would have had Guerendo be the fullback. I mean, what is Juice? At the end of the day, what is Juice? He's just an athletic guy. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't block anybody for the most part. He doesn't catch the ball. He doesn't do much, but he's a pretty athletic guy who can play everywhere. And he can catch the ball a little bit. Though he fumbled in the key moment last year.
They need to use him more. I mean, here's the thing: if he's going to be on,
Guerendo could be
more out of him.
Guerendo doesn't have running back instincts, but he's obviously big, strong, and fast, and he can catch. So you can either use him as a fullback, a running back out of the backfield, or a receiver, or a return man. And when you're that big and that fast, I think they'll work with you. But as far as, the people that were saying, dude, he's got no instincts, go look at the numbers about how, Pro PFF grades running backs and look at some of those analytical numbers, and it tells you this guy's just a fish out of water. And I like him as a talent, and I'm intrigued by him for sure. And I'd love to see the 49ers get him, Damon, isolated in open space against a less athletic defender and try to turn him into your mismatch player in the passing game. He's not a runner, but if you throw it to him in the passing game, I mean, imagine what you potentially could do with a guy like Isaac Guerendo. I think in some ways, if you have vision of what he can be, I think he could have value. But I doubt anybody out there really has vision of what he can be because he's just so raw. But he's not going anywhere. I would be shocked if the Niners traded him. I would be shocked because what do you think they would get? 5th round pick? And why would you do that? Why would you trade him?
I'm more interested in a guy who can catch. I'm more interested in who the player is going to be this season than what you might be able to get for him. And again, that came, I think, from a Chargers site, but I just thought I'd bring it up since, like you said, we're talking football on May 12th.
Well, those articles. They, hey, one guy's got to be traded from every team. And there's like 7 or 8 guys that are like, oh, man, those are great ideas. And there's 3 or 4 that ain't going to happen.
Larry, I got to head upstairs real quick. I got a little something upstairs. I'll be right back, okay?
All right. Let's hit some supers here. We got some supers Ben Diesel 85 in the house. Gabe Davis will be a good fit on our offense. Hey, he's not signed yet, especially in the red zone. What do you guys think about Isaiah Neyor? Neyor, the guy has a lot of potential. He just needs to work on his drops. Okay, so Neyor's interesting. He was this recruit that didn't get recruited out of high school. Wasn't recruited. Was on his way to go play for like one of the FCS schools, Incarnate Word or something like that. And then in the 11th hour, Wyoming offered him a full ride. And so he went to Wyoming. And he played for 2 years there in Wyoming. And he had good numbers. He really put himself on the map. Wyoming's kind of an underrated program, I think. So he goes to Wyoming, then decides, hey, look, I'm badass. Look at me. I'm going to put myself in the portal. So he puts himself in the portal. Everybody wanted him. Everybody. And now he was being like, everybody wanted him. Bama, Georgia, everybody. He signs with Texas. He immediately blows out the knee. ACL. Done for the year. Never did anything at Texas. And then basically Texas brought in Isaiah Bond, and they had a deep cupboard of receivers. And he's like, I better get out of here if I ever want to play. And he transferred to Nebraska, and he played. He was one of the receivers for Raiola, the young Nebraska quarterback, who's got a ton of talent, by the way. I was just talking about Gabe Davis. So he goes to Nebraska, and he has a really good year for playing with Dominic Raiola, or I think it's Dominic. And what he is a scout's dream. He's got very little production. He's got 65 catches in 4 seasons. So he doesn't have production at all. But what he has is a skill set that's like almost second to none. You don't see that many 6'4", 220-pound receivers, period. And you certainly don't see them who run 4.4 flat. And then you certainly don't see of that group have, most of those guys don't have 35-inch arms. And of the guys that do, nobody's got 40-inch vertical. So this guy's got 40-inch vertical, 35-inch arms, 4.4 flat speed.
It makes you wonder why he didn't put it all together. Why was
he did? Right before you jumped on, Damon, I was saying he started at Wyoming. Nobody recruited him out of high school. I think he had injuries. But he went to Wyoming. He had 2 really good years. Then he put himself in the portal and then everybody wanted him. Bama and everybody. And he decides to go to Texas, immediately blows out the ACL. So he never played at Texas. I don't know if they ever even caught a ball at Texas. Then when Isaiah Bond transferred from Bama to Texas, he saw that the cupboard was pretty full. So he said, I better get out of here. And he went to Nebraska, and he played this last year as the receiver for Raiola, and he was pretty good. And he had a pretty good year. So the skill set is off the charts. But receiver, you see it every year. Rookie receivers don't come into the NFL and do much very often because it's a big transition. And for this guy, it's going to even be a bigger transition. But you know what? This guy's got so many traits that if he shows something this summer, this is going to be a very interesting guy this summer. If he shows absolutely nothing, I think he's cut. If he shows a little something in practice, but basically not much, I think he's practice squad. But what happens if this guy goes into the preseason and plays well and looks good? The rest of these teams are all smart enough to be able to look at this guy's profile and be like, oh, wait, 6'4", 220, 4.4 speed, 35-inch hands or arms, 40-inch vertical. Yeah, we'll take him. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see if do they do what they did with Mason Pline last year, Damon, and just kind of hide him and just say, we're going to redshirt a raw player? Or do they actually put him out there and say, hey, let's see if we can use him? Because we don't have Ayuk, and maybe he could be our sleeper.
Look at it this way. You put him on your practice squad. He's got a body type that somebody's going to probably come after.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Somebody's going to say our receiver coach can turn Isaiah Neyor into Julio Jones. Right. Fuji Simeon says, I can see Larry reciting the ads in his sleep. Pig in a pickle. Open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Or until they run out. Say hi to Damon and Mary. Okay, I got you. Thank you, Fuji Simeon. Appreciate it. Fuji in the house says Carr retired.
When you got your pitch down, you got your pitch down. I mean, that's what it is.
Carr retired. 49ers trade Brock to the Saints. Joking. Or
By the way, Derek Carr, I don't know what would have happened to that Raiders season back in 2016. Snapped his ankle and everything changed. I think they go into Houston. They win that game with Derek Carr, and they're not starting Connor Cook, for God's sakes. They could have won that game and maybe done more. That was Derek Carr's best season. That was Jack Del Rio's best season. That was a really good season of Raiders football that went up in smoke when the Colts snapped his freaking ankle in week 16.
Once again, too, it's like, who was a huge Derek Carr fan coming out in the draft? Joe Montana. Joe Montana was like, oh, Derek Carr. Well, so much for that. I mean, just kind of shows, just because you can play the position doesn't necessarily mean you can identify others who can. And I just don't think Carr was ever much of a competitor, Damon. I don't think he. I don't think he lives to win. I don't think he burns. I don't think that he doesn't have what Brock Purdy has. He doesn't have that burning desire inside. He doesn't. You don't throw the ball into the turf on the final play of the game if you're a great competitor. He did it multiple times in his disastrous career. He made some money. Good for him. He's a good man, man of faith and whatnot, but lousy competitor.
Right. He was a good quarterback, a better guy. His situation was never outstanding, but it felt like he didn't really elevate his situation to the point of, he's like the one. So too bad, just it's hard being a Raider.
It is. Corey Patterson says, off-topic question, why did Kenny Pickett go first quarterback in the draft and Purdy go last pick when Purdy put similar stats in similar competition in one less year? It's all because of these boxes. It's the NFL wants you to be, if you're a quarterback, they need you to be in the 6'2" to 6'5" box. If you're taller than that, you're too tall and it's a problem. If you're shorter than that, you're too short and it's a problem. And this is the NFL. This is the way it goes. This is why, oftentimes if you want to get great players, if you're willing to take a shorter player, a lot of times the Niners took Alex Smith partially over Aaron Rodgers because Alex Smith was 6'4" and change, and Aaron Rodgers was 6'2". So the NFL and their idiot, they play the odds, and that's fine.
Well, and he got drafted by the Eagles, and again, the Eagles aren't too far away from Pitt. And I think taking a shot on the local kid or the in-state kid is a direction that some teams lean into.
He got drafted by the Steelers.
The Steelers, yeah. What did I say? Eagles? Sorry, I'm all over the place today. I had a rough weekend.
He got drafted by the Steelers, and the Eagles took a shot. But then immediately, Tanner McKee, in 1 year, they both got starts at the end of the year, and McKee looked great, and Pickett looked not that great, and goodbye Pickett. So Pickett's now in where'd Pickett go? Chargers? No.
Cleveland now, I think.
Cleveland. That's it. He's in Cleveland. He's one of many in Cleveland. I never liked Kenny Pickett. I watched him a lot, with his glove, wearing the glove on his hand at Pitt. And, I know he had some good moments. I just never quite saw it there. To me, he never quite had the stature, the control of the football, the accuracy, the mobility. I just never saw enough there from Kenny Pickett. I was always looking for more, and I never got it. Sunday Living, 49ers got a draft gem or an undrafted gem in Neyor. Only thing standing in his way is Shanny's inability to play rookies. Let's see the Niners F this up. Well, you know what? He looks good. There's no question about that. I'll say this. If you guys wanted to invent a receiver, we have an obscure receiver nobody's heard of that we really have a lot of confidence in, a lot of belief in. I mean, Damon, it's almost like it's central casting. It's like you could not have on
Madden.
You could not create a better player. As far as let's create. What do you want? I'd like to have like a 6'4" receiver who's got, who runs like 4.4 flat. I mean, he's really fast. And then like maybe like 35-inch arms, like maybe the longest arms of any receiver out there, but then also has an ability to really sky for the ball, like 35, 36, 38, 40-inch vertical. Yeah. If I could have, and that is this guy. I mean, he literally is all those traits in one guy. So he is pretty intriguing. I will say that, but you got to remember this. He didn't do much he didn't do anything at Texas, and he didn't do tons at Wyoming and Nebraska.
And look, every single NFL front office took a hard look at him just based on his body type, right? And every single one of them, Niners included, passed in the draft. So there's something that does not fit. It's not his body type, but there's
somebody walking around their office going, man, this guy looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane.
Yeah.
You know it. MSQ says predictions on the draft lottery. My guess is Cooper Flagg will go number one. As far as who wins it, I have no idea.
We do get ping pong balls tonight, though, Larry. The NBA draft lottery is tonight, along with the basically entirety of the Warriors season is kind of tonight. So
the Warriors do not have a first-round pick. The Warriors have a second-round pick. The two guys.
Flag's not going to be there in the second round.
I don't think he's going to make it. He's going absolutely number one. But I do take a lot of time in the month of June and really take a look at the NBA draft, because I do. I try to make sure that I know every play. This is how I learn the players. I make sure that I learn them coming out in the draft. I will say this. I did spend about an hour and a half looking at NBADraft.net's mock draft, just taking a look at who's out there and what the whole thing looks like. Cooper Flagg is going one. This Dylan Harper is going two from Rutgers. Rutgers has Ace Bailey.
That's my favorite player in this draft.
Really?
That's my favorite player. Dude, Ace Bailey.
Okay.
Baller. Straight up baller.
Well, how about this? Rutgers has two guys in the top four.
That's the thing. When Harper went down, Ace Bailey was like, I got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely baller.
I've watched a lot of these college players. I will say this. One of my favorite players is the Maryland big man, who's like a gigantic, kind of a fat guy, but he's really good. Derek Queen. Remember him from the tournament, the freshman big man who hit the game winner?
Larry, he was Maryland. He was supposed to come to Indiana.
Oh, he's an amazing talent.
A lot of talk about him coming to Indiana, and then he was one of the guys who put forward, like, the Indiana fan base was so toxic it turned him off. Just the online conjecture.
Really?
Oh, Indiana fans are they're like Niner. The Indiana basketball fans have become the, unrelenting, I need a Super Bowl. I need it now. Circumstances do not matter. I have the right to it. Like, Indiana fans have become a level of obnoxious. And the loud part of Indiana fans that has become so obnoxious has so dominated the online discourse that it kind of rubbed Queen the wrong way. And he's like, I'm going to fucking Maryland.
So, yeah, and I love him. I mean, he's a 6'10" guy with a buttery shot. He needs to. I mean, he literally is the fat kid in the pool wearing a t-shirt. He almost wore a jacket underneath his jersey. Did you see that? What he wore this year? I mean, it wasn't even a t-shirt. It was like rainproof. I mean, I was like looking at Derek Queen. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, I know you're the fat guy who's got the t-shirt, but I mean, come on, it's not even a t-shirt. You look like you're wearing like a North Face undergarment. Excuse me, but I was just going to say, Warriors have a second round pick. So I was looking at players in the second round. I'm going to give you a couple names that I really love. Ryan Kalkbrenner, the 7'1" center from Creighton. I don't know if you've seen Kalkbrenner the last few years when you were watching Baylor Shireman or any of those guys from Creighton, but Kalkbrenner's a 7'1", 270-pound center from Creighton. Damon, this guy had a 49-point game earlier this year. The Warriors always need size, right? And Kalkbrenner, is projected to go 40th overall. They have the 41st.
Look, Can he get to Chase Center tonight?
I'm just saying that's a name. That's a name. The other guys that I really, really like that are going to be there for the Golden State Warriors, Caleb Love, the Arizona 2 guard, who was so good in the tournament, like a 6'5" 2 guard from Arizona. He's considered a second-round pick.
He's in North Carolina, right?
What's that? Caleb Love? No, I think he was at Arizona, wasn't he?
No, but he started at North Carolina.
Yeah. He started at North Carolina
with Hubert Davis.
Yeah. He transferred to Arizona, but he's. I really like him. I love what I saw at Arizona this year. And then Peja Stojakovic's kid who played at Cal, and then I think he transferred to Illinois. Mm-hmm. Andre Stojakovic. I like him, and I kind of like the gigantic center from Michigan, Vladislav Golden. I don't know if you saw him at all in the tournament.
Sure did.
Huge. I mean, we're talking about 7'1", 250. So, and then Mark Sears from Alabama, the 6-foot point guard who can flat out. I mean, he's kind of like a Damon Stoudemire type. I mean, he's a short. Is 5'11" too short for the NBA? I mean, what do you think, Damon? This guy's great. He's great.
If you're stepping into the league at 5'11", you better be 42% from 3. You know what I mean? Like you got to have
a major vertical, and
you have an major attribute. You have an attribute that is so undeniable that people will overlook the fact that you're too short to play back here.
Yeah. We got this one from Fuji. Thoughts on the fans suing the NFL regarding Shadur's fall in the draft? It's like if I sued Larry for singing the horrendous Saying Nations Fight song.
I hope this fan is beaten back with a countersuit that has to pay for all court costs and something this insane. I think the NFL needs to drop an atomic bomb on this nonsense so you don't have frivolous lawsuits being filed. This is a guy who's John Doe, and someone's like, no, he's genius. He's just looking to get to discovery. This is going to be thrown out immediately by any judge who looks at it and says, you have no right to sports creating happiness in your life. How soft do you have to be to file this lawsuit?
What's the basis of the claim?
Emotional distress over Shadur's fall in the draft. Big Colorado fan couldn't take it, Larry. Not even an alumni. So on Friday, Sam Patesh and I had a lawyer on to discuss this, and it's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it is absurd. What's even more absurd is there are people this weekend that showed a clip from Cleveland's minicamp, and they're like, look at Shadur throw this pass 81 yards in the air.
That was not an 81-yard pass.
You saw it? Yeah, it was probably a 35-yard pass.
I mean, it was a great ball. I'm not here to say that wasn't a nice pass, but I don't think it went 80 yards.
Like what? Nope. Why you're going to put that out there? You think the rest of us can't know the difference between 35 yards and 80 yards? I mean, that was unbelievable. I was like, what is this? MSQ, if you could personally assemble the O-line, what does it look like? If I could personally assemble the O-line, I would have had Trent Williams at left tackle. I like Dom Pooney at guard. I think I probably would have him at left guard instead of right guard. At center, I would go with the guy they just drafted, the guy they just brought in for a workout. I'd go with Marcus Ware or somebody like that over Brendle. I'm not a Brendle guy. At right guard, based on what they have, I would say
Pooney after the season that he just had. I'm because right where he is.
Because Connor Colby's made 50 starts at right guard, and that's probably my right guard. So I have to. Pooney's the book on Pooney coming out was this guy can play all 5 spots.
Play anywhere, right?
And when I talked to him about it, he's like, "Yeah, man, he's like left guard is probably the spot, or right guard is probably the spot I have the least experience at." Well, that was early in the year, so obviously he played pretty well at right guard. So I think he could probably play left guard. I don't know how much it matters, but the Niners need to find a starting left guard, and I think it's our right guard if it's not Pooney, or a left guard if Pooney's going to be at right guard. And I think Connor Colby is probably the best option they got, and he started 50 starts at right guard. So we'll see. We'll see what Moss and Colby look like, and Barch and Burford, and there's a few guys, Zakel, Nugent. I mean, they have some guys there. They also brought in this weekend Dillard, the former Packer and Eagle, and they also signed Petit Frere, the Tennessee offensive tackle, who's really underpowered. But they have a little bit more tackle depth today than they did last week. We got this one from Fuji Simeons. What's the plan at center? Brendle's job to lose? Oh, they love Brendle. It's Brendle's job. Forget to lose. It's him. It's him until he falls off or just they absolutely get somebody better. When I asked about it last year, they were like, oh, Brendle's better in like 7 different categories.
And then you'd look up those categories and you'd find like, no, he really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to a point where it's kind of
they're trying to make Brendle like they're trying to make fetch happen. He's not awful. That's the thing. He's not awful, but he's not good really either. He is
underpowered.
He's measurably one of the least effective centers in football.
Big nose guards, throw him around and own him. And the Niners can't run the ball up the middle, so I don't know why anybody would say their center's awesome. How can you be awesome if we can't run behind you? Why is Shanahan on 2nd and goal and 3rd and goal from the 4 in week 16 passing the ball in consecutive plays? Because he doesn't believe he can run it. If he doesn't believe he can run it, it's because he doesn't believe you can block it. And if he doesn't believe you can block it, then why aren't you changing out your blockers? So I don't know. We'll have to see where this goes. Kyle Silva, Larry Damon, 2 of the Bay's best. Go Dubs.
Thank you.
Dominic Senna, you probably have your reasons, but why do you genuinely hate Shadur? He hasn't caused any off-field problems or committed any crimes.
Well, look, here's the thing. Larry's dislike of Shadur has nothing to do with character or off-field or on. It's just he doesn't like the player. Now, I think it's ridiculous to take that definitive position on anybody because we just do not know. We don't know. We do not know what he will be. The NFL does not know what he will be the same way the NFL did not know what Brock Purdy could be. We just don't know until he actually goes out and plays.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at I'm looking at skill set. There's not a lot of skill set there. I watched the guy 4 times last year, early in the year, twice in the middle of the year, once late in the year. There's no consistency to anything that he does. He's like Trey Lance in that he holds the ball for an eternity. He holds the ball so long. That's not you can't replicate that in the NFL. So the ball is going to have to come out a lot faster than it comes out at Colorado. That's one.
And the thing to me, the thing that I don't like most about him, Larry, and I'll let you finish here, is he cooked the grenade on his completion percentage. He took the sack instead of throwing the ball away to protect the one category that he was leading the nation in. And I think he did that to the detriment of his own team.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't think they were good. I mean, I watched the guy a bunch. I didn't think they were good. He had the best receiver in college football. He can throw from a bunch of different arm angles. I will say that. Like, he's not just like back to pass and it's coming out in one spot. He'll move it around. He'll move his arm angle to avoid the rush. But we're talking about a small player, 6'1", and 30 pounds less than Brock Purdy. We're talking about a player with, who was a high level passer with great accuracy on underneath stuff, but I didn't see that level of accuracy down the field. To me, all this talk about he's incredible, he's incredibly trustworthy with the game on the line. I mean, Colorado had just these huge ups and downs where they look good, they look terrible, they look good, they look terrible. So I don't know. To me, I don't think Shadur has the arm strength. I don't think he has the physical stature. I don't think look at it this way. He doesn't even have anything close to Brock Purdy's skill set when it comes to he's 30 pounds lighter and significantly slower. How do you make that work? You don't have a great arm. Somebody just said you threw it 81 yards in the air the other day and showed a pass that was 30 yards. I I definitely don't like the sense of entitlement thing, but I've never met the kid, so I really don't. That's really not part of my evaluation. My evaluation is just that I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's very good. I didn't see any consistency at all there. If Shadur's, I'll say this. I've said this a couple times, and I'll make this point. My prediction is Shadur Sanders there'll be more quarterbacks drafted behind Shadur Sanders that do more in the NFL than quarterbacks that he was drafted behind that he outperforms. There'll be players drafted behind him that outperform him. He will not outperform the players that were drafted in front of him. That's how I feel.
We'll see.
The other thing, I see a lot of Trey Lance there. Like when you look at Trey Lance, you're like, oh man, he's got it all. And then all of a sudden you got to training camp and you're like, he doesn't have shit.
Here's the one thing that
he doesn't have
bring to the table that Trey Lance couldn't even imagine bringing to the table: snaps on his body. Shadur, since Jackson State, has been playing an awful lot of football. So, maybe that does him well at the next level. It certainly undid Trey Lance's chance to succeed at the next level.
Trey Lance did not play very much. But
right.
Like when you looked at Trey Lance, you're like, okay, he's big and strong, but his arm strength wasn't that awesome. Then you're like, oh, well, he's fast, but he wasn't fast. Oh, but he's this, but he wasn't that. You know what I mean? It's like, right. I don't know. I looked up at Trey and I was like, after about 6 weeks of watching Trey, I was like, God, this guy misses layups. His arm strength doesn't look all that special. It's like if he's got a stronger arm than these other quarterbacks, it's nominally stronger. And the accuracy
athlete, and he wasn't that like fleet-footed, like dual threat, nothing, not even close.
He would have lost a sprint to Juszczyk. And that's so that's what. And as far as here's the other thing too. I kind of look at this draft very similar to the Stafford Sanchez draft. I loved Stafford, hated Sanchez. I love Cam Ward and hate Shadur. That's how I see those two classes. We got this one. Neyor is Kyle's new Julio Jones. Any bold predictions?
Sure. Guerendo's the new Roger Craig. Sure. We're just saying dumb things out loud.
I'll make a bold prediction. I would say that a rookie, either the undrafted kid Moss or the late draft pick Colby, will start at guard over the other options, Burford, Barch, whoever.
Shame on all of them if that happens, right? Shame on all of them.
Well, I'm just saying. I think Colby. If you play, and Matt Miller made this point in the draft, and he was draft coverage. He's right. I was watching him on day 3. I love Miller on day 3 of the draft. And he said, he's like, you know what? This is a great scheme fit. He's like, Connor Colby can do all the things that the 49ers ask their guards to do. He's like, he's perfectly suited for them. He's like, this is a perfect scheme fit for Connor Colby to go to the 49ers. And I just think that, we'll see. We'll see. I think it may not be even a statement about how good Colby is. It may be a statement of how bad the other options are. But I think I'll make that prediction that Connor Colby or Drew Moss wind up starting at left guard over all those veterans. I probably wouldn't make a prediction on Neyor. He's impressive, but I won't make a prediction. MSQ says, are you feeling better after your argument with Cy yesterday? I'm going to leave that as a gigantic no comment. Put
it this way. I think you and Cyrus need what that sentence needs: a little space.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing too much of him. Tattooed Jesus, listen to you both on KMBR and the game driving semis for the Chronicle. Got me through a lot of dim Niners and Giants seasons. Thank you both.
Thank you, Tattooed Jesus, for listening. Thank you for driving for the Chronicle. And like Larry and I probably both got laid off from a dying medium. So I wish you luck. Although Larry hung around.
And those people from the Chronicle are not laid off. They're just not relevant anymore because nobody's reading it. Were you laid off? No, I still work there. I just make peanuts and nobody reads me. MSQ. I meant Saturdays since you unexpectedly left after debate. I have no idea what that means.
I think it's going back to your spicy post-game show.
Yeah, where I just was like, you know what? I do this for fun. I'm not having fun. Have a great night. Peace out. MSQ. Dame's timeline on Purdy. Dame? Or is that you? Dame's timeline on Purdy extension expired. Panic time. LOL. Who's Dame's time?
No,
you're
I mean, I would like it done.
No, you weren't making a prediction, were you?
No, I wasn't making a prediction. I was saying what I would hope to have happened. I hope this is all done now. It's ridiculous the way it doesn't. I see we got where was this article that I had on Purdy today that we didn't even get into with OTAs starting on the 27th.
That's the day. That will be the day. Here's what my perspective on this. I think this deal's already done. I think it's already been negotiated. I think it's already been signed. Maybe not by all parties, but I think the paperwork's been drawn. That would be my feeling on it.
It should be. That's the thing. There's so many examples of what this deal needs to be and will be, that to pretend that this is a difficult thing to reach is absurd.
Well, it could be considered difficult because you don't know exactly how to rank everybody, and there's a little bit of projection. Some people, just off of the articles I've seen written, you could argue that some people think he ought to make 35 million, and other people think he ought to make 65 million, and there's a big disparity there. But I will say this: forget the language, because I don't know what the language is going to look like, and I don't know what the deal is.
Everyone who thinks he should make 35 million can exit the conversation, because you're not on the same planet of reality that this actual contract will exist in.
Yeah.
So just get out of the room. Your comments of Brock should make less than 40 disqualify you from further commenting on the issue, because that's not how business works. It's like walking into a Lamborghini dealership and saying, I want to pay Honda Civic prices. And you can say, well, I don't think Brock is a Lamborghini. Doesn't matter. I mean,
it's in bartering, maybe in certain countries where they barter, maybe you could offer that. But it's just the bottom line is, the guy's a good quarterback and he's proven it. He's taken them to a Super Bowl. They weren't good enough to win it, so they didn't win it, but he's plenty good enough, and he's gonna make $50 million. I don't know if he's gonna make $60 million. My prediction was, 3-year deal for $56 million AAV. As far as guarantees, I think it'll probably be a little bit on the higher end of guarantees, because I think the trade-off, Damon, is going to be that it's going to be a 5-year deal listed, but it's going to have a 3-year option out for the Niners. So I think the guaranteed money has to be really high to offset giving the Niners a year 3 out. So my guess is that the contract will include a year 3 out for the Niners, lots of guaranteed money for Brock, more than most people would even imagine. An AAV right around mid-50s. And I predicted that this would get done by the 27th, which I think is the date you're talking about. I think that is day 1 of phase 3. And all I meant by that was just that I just know Brock. It's like I know Brock. It's like I know what makes that guy tick. And there's no way in the world that he is not going. There's no way in the world that he can be out there without the contract being signed, and there's no way in the world he's not going to be out there. So he's good. That contract's going to get signed. My guess is it will be signed the morning of their first workout in that phase 3 of OTAs. So get ready for a May 25th, 26th, 27th, something like that.
15 days. 15 days is the window to get it done before you get to the 27th. I want to leave everyone with this, Larry. Let's wrap up with this, because it's a week of scheduling news. I think on the Today Show, they announced that September 4th, the Thursday night game, we all knew the Eagles, as defending Super Bowl champs, were hosting it. They're getting the Dallas Cowboys. Our first game of the NFL year will be Cowboys Eagles opening up the season. The 49ers, as I think everyone in this chat, everyone who pays attention already knows, will have the easiest strength of schedule based on last year's winning percentages, 415. They're just 2 teams, along with the New Orleans Saints, that has a strength of schedule below a 425 winning percentage. That's good news. The San Francisco is only going to play 4 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. The Texans, the Buccaneers, and 2 games against the Rams. That is also tied with the Saints for the fewest such opponents from the previous year. And conversely, this is where I think it gets interesting. And when you talk about the Niners, and you might not like this, you might not like that, but the bad strength of schedule or the easier strength of schedule is a good thing. Let's talk about a couple of other strength of schedules and who the Niners are running their race against. The Niners are running an NFC race against the Eagles and the Lions. Those are 2 teams. Now you could say Packers are in the mix, Seahawks, Rams could be in the mix. Sure, there are other teams that will appear in the conversation, maybe the Vikings, who knows. So the New York Giants, even though they went 3-14, they've got the hardest strength of schedule coming up in football. They've got 6 of their 8 home games coming against teams that were in the playoffs last year, and the other 2 games are the 49ers and Cowboys. The Detroit Lions tied with the Chicago Bears for the second toughest strength of schedule, but it's even tougher than Chicago's really because the Lions have 12 games against teams that finished with a winning record in 2024, which is the most in the NFL. They've got 11 games against teams that made the playoffs, which is tied with the Eagles for the most. The Eagles got a brutal schedule, Larry. They're going to play 6 road games against teams outside of the NFC East, and all 6 of those games will come against teams that made the playoffs last year. The brutal slate includes road games against the Bills, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Vikings, the Chargers, and the Buccaneers. As the 49ers are enjoying the easiest strength of schedule, 2 teams that you got to see where they are in pole position all year long, the Lions and Eagles, are going to be up against it. That's good news for the 49ers playoff chances.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the schedule's the schedule. You can't, you play who you play. All that's left to be determined, we'll find out, is the order of things. The Niners have a very favorable schedule, but, the only thing about that is, I hate to get too deep into that because it's just, the way the NFL is. It's like, you could have a really, really tough game, but all of a sudden 3 guys are out, and now that's a really easy game. Or you could have a really easy game, but all of a sudden you look up and you're like, wait, this team that everybody thought was horrible is thriving with a backup quarter. It's like there's all kinds of factors and injuries.
It's crazy to not say it's a fluid situation. A lot of things can change, but just
there are people. I'll say this. I the same people that want to push back on guys like me and try to say that the draft is a gigantic crapshoot are going to try to speak with all these definitive terms in May about a game that's going to be played in November.
Right.
I used to do sport. You and I both used to work at Sports Byline USA. They had 5 lines ringing. We did a show called Sports Overnight America. We took calls all night long. We were in many college towns, Columbus, Ohio, and Lincoln, Nebraska, and places
Wheeling,
like that.
West Virginia, stand up.
Yeah, all these places. And they would literally call. People would call. Hey, let's go to Bob in blah, blah, blah on WBNS in Columbus. Hey, what's up, L-Dog, Mr. H? What's going on? Hey, I just wanted to, who do you guys think wins Buckeyes Wolverines this year?
Right.
Bob, that game's November 19th. I know. I got it on the brain. I'm out here driving around. It's May. I realize it's May, boys, but what do you, seriously.
Right.
That's college football fan. That's college football in America. It's like,
well, look, and as the sports talk radio guy who even knows the let's go through the season schedule and play W's and L's is a useless exercise, I still love it. I do. I will still go through it. As soon as you hand me a schedule, my eyes start putting W's and L's next to games, whether I wanted to or not. We all do it. So, that's always fun. And we're looking at it this way. We're going to have that show this week. We will have the 49ers schedule this week. Wednesday? Wednesday night. We should have it all. And obviously, looking at rest disparity is now, I think, what we're going to look at before we do the W's and L's exercise. So there's a lot.
Let's be totally honest about this. The rest disparity is the NFL's interests being shown, for everybody to see. It's the NFL's secret interests being shown. So one year, Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, and they dreamt of having the Jets in the playoffs. And the Jets had the easiest strength of schedule there was known to man, except Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles. Yeah, but he blew out his Achilles, but we got a chance. So they were nothing even with their easy schedule. But we got a chance to see the league's desire to manipulate the Jets into the postseason. And so, yeah, I mean, it's.
Can I say, though, but here's the thing, Larry. We all know that
it's a little bogus. Let's be honest, Damon. It's the least fair part of this.
Oh, no, without it, there's something. This is the hand on the switch that can manipulate which way the track goes. I agree with you there. But isn't it odd that the 49ers wouldn't be given favor by the NFL, given such a big brand, the brisk business, the fact that
let me comment on that. It's actually they actually are getting favor, because really what the league is stating to them is that we need you to play in all these high profile games, which are going to take precedent over your rest. Our great matchup between you and somebody else in primetime is going to happen, but your rest is going to be what is going to be the part that nobody gives a crap about except for you. We don't care about your rest, Niners, but we care about getting you into primetime a lot.
By the way, I don't realize, I know that you want to go year over year. It was a bigger Thursday night audience than what was it? Lions, Chiefs, or Chiefs, Ravens the last year, whatever it was. Last 2 years, it feels like, we've had a lot of Chiefs opening the season because they've won some Super Bowl. But anyways, why would you blow your Cowboys Eagles load week one? I don't understand that. You could have Eagles opening against the Carolina Panthers. You're going to get a huge number. It's the first game of the year. That Cowboys game.
Where's Kansas City in week one? Do we know?
No, we don't know yet.
Well, I would imagine they probably wanted that, right? They always seem like they want the Super Bowl rematch. And then you knew they wanted one of the Super Bowl teams in there. So you get the Eagles, you get the world champion.
Now you win the Super Bowl, you have first game Thursday night as your home game next year. I think that's pretty standard.
I'm sure they wanted Chiefs. If they couldn't get Chiefs, they just want whoever the big draw is, and the Cowboys are one of the NFL's biggest draws.
The biggest draw, probably.
Are they?
Cowboys? Yeah, dude, Cowboys are a freaking monster. There's no denying it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Cowboys were the NFL's biggest draw, but yeah. Well, there you go. That's why you have it. Because they want one Super Bowl team. They probably wanted a rematch. Kansas City probably couldn't make it happen. There's probably something going on there. And then so throw in another team, and Dallas is that team. They get a big Thursday night crowd, and everybody's happy.
Larry, at 11, I'm going full Warriors Game 4 NBA show. Huge one for the Warriors in defeat. I love their game plan in game 3 of this series. Unfortunately, they're young guys and nobody decided to hit a 3, and Moody and Pajemski have been huge incompletes, and that killed them. No, there isn't a third guy who wants to come along for the ride. This is a huge one. Can you make it a 2 out of 3 with the hope that Steph Curry resumes playing? I don't know if he will or won't. You don't win tonight, the amount of trouble that the Warriors are in is straight to DEFCON 1 level. You're in trouble. So this is a huge one. If the Warriors got a last stand in them, they better draw the line in the sand tonight at Chase Center. I'm going to the game. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll do a little post game from Chase afterwards as well, too.
Well, good luck to the Warriors. I'll stay with my thoughts because I'm unbiased. There's a lot of biased people out there. There's a lot of people that are really biased about the Warriors. Oh, I'm hugely optimistic. You're hugely optimistic because your season's over in 2 days if you're not. I'll stay with my original take, which is that the Warriors, after losing Steph, are not going to win any more games. So they got that win without Steph in game 1, and I just don't think they're going to win any more games. I think that they're done winning. They got a great performance out of Kuminga yesterday. There's not enough. They don't have enough offense to get it done without Curry. So, Jimmy Butler was great.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler was great. A lot of people were very critical of Jimmy Butler 2 games ago for being kind of passive offensively. So what did he do in this last game? He came out super aggressive, and he was awesome. He was absolutely leading them to a victory. And then we got to the 8-minute mark, and he stopped scoring, and thus the Warriors lost. And so they're gonna lose. I love the Warriors, and I would love to see the Warriors, win this game, get to the next round, extend this thing, give us all more to talk about. But I'm going to stay with my prediction, which is that I just don't think the Warriors, minus Steph Curry, have enough offense.
Well, look, you had Houston in 7, so you didn't even think they'd be here. So
yeah, I had Houston in 7. And I had the Warriors winning 38 games, and they were on their way to winning 38 games until they made the Jimmy Butler trade. And then they got on an incredible run. I did think Houston, as the 2 seed, would somehow beat them. They were able to beat Houston because Houston has no offensive players. But without Steph.
The only thing that I think gives them even a puncher's chance.
What do you got?
Minnesota's fucking soft. They really are. Minnesota isn't nearly as good as I kind of thought that they were. They're not. They just do not have this. Anthony Edwards is playing half a basketball game right now. He's been closing like a freight train, but he's been not finding his rhythm early on in these games. It's giving the Warriors a chance at halftime. And if you got a chance at halftime, maybe you can make it happen in the second half. They got a shot to maybe go back to Minnesota up 2-2. But even then, I think they're in trouble. But let's see. Whatever they're going to do, it needs to start with a win in Game 4. So let's see if they get it tonight. All hands on deck. Moses Moody, you're like, for the month of May, dude. You need to do something.
Yeah, I mean, this is, they're in a tough one here. They're in a tough one. Minnesota's got the 2-1 lead. I agree with you, though, about Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota is kind of soft. Naz Reid wants to shoot threes and only threes. He doesn't want to bang, but you know what?
He's hitting them. Julius Randle
looks good though, man. He's averaging 21, 6, and 6 over the last 10 games. I don't know. I mean, I over the last 10 games, the Warriors are 5-5. Over the last 10 games, the T-Wolves are 8-2. I think the Warriors are going down. By
the way, real quick from Fuji, Giants, swept in Minnesota, man. Not good.
Yeah, they were not good. Off-topic thoughts on the Giants' terrible weekend. Well, the Walker, the closer, is probably not the guy. The Giants don't have enough offense. I mean, it's the Warriors' problem and the Giants' problem right now. It's the same damn problem. The Giants can't score, and the Warriors can't score without Steph. You got to be able to score. I mean, Giants, Lamont Wade. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, is this guy own the goddamn fucking team? I mean, put this guy in the fucking minors. Jesus Christ. How long do you have to watch Lamont Wade shit the bed? The guy, he's not a great defensive player. He's hitting 100 with like a 210 on base. I mean, what the fuck, Giants? Put that guy in the minor leagues and go get somebody else. He plays first base. You don't have anybody else anywhere that you can find that can hit, that can play first base. So, I mean, the Giants have got to get real with some of their inept offensive players. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, Minnesota's, I think, a pretty good baseball team, even though the Minnesota had a worse record than the Giants coming in.
They won 8 in a row.
Yeah, maybe, but Minnesota's a good team.
Yeah,
they're hot. They're playing well, but they've got some good hitters too. That Larnack can flat out rake, and they got some guys. I mean, I like what I saw from Minnesota. Giants have never done well at Target Field. I think they've only won once there. But enough of this disaster at first base with Lamont Wade. I mean, you're running out of first baseman every day who can't hit a lick. It's like, put him in the minors and go find somebody else who can hit. I don't care if it's for a day, a week, but it ain't happening. And to keep running that guy out there, we're almost in the middle of May, and you're going to keep running a bad offensive player out at first base. I mean,
they got a 9-game homestand right in front of them. They got the Diamondbacks. That Merrill Kelly's going tonight. It seems like Merrill Kelly is always pitching against the Giants when they're playing the Diamondbacks. But they got Verlander still trying to pick up his first win of the damn season, right? He's still over. I think this is the deepest into a year that Verlander's gone without picking up a win in his career. He's been pitching pretty well.
He's been pitching pretty well.
Then they got the he's not been great, but he's what a 47-year-old man should be, or however old he is, 42, whatever. Anyways, it's a Diamondbacks, A's, and then Royals. So next 9 games, you want to win at least 6 of those bad boys, and make sure your arrows pointed back up, because June swoon was written all over the team that just got swept in Minnesota. So let's do better than that, San Francisco Giants, especially if the Warriors are going to bow out here quickly. We need a little something to get us to week 1 of the NFL season. So,
well, I mean, Diamondbacks are roughly 500, but they think they're better than that, and they're going to show up in this series ready to go.
They are.
The A's are absolutely a good team, and Kansas City is a good team too. So you know what? If the Giants could have a rough stretch here this season, this could be a bad moment if the Giants don't get off the canvas and really play in the next 10 games.
Big homestand, Larry. Big homestand.
One more MSQ. How's the Niners schedule after offseason moves from the opponents? Well, I mean, I'd have to
again, we just kind of went over that a little bit. We got strength of schedule. We'll worry about that another day, because I got to pee before I do my next show, Larry.
I got a show coming up here in 12 minutes. Sam Batesh is stopping by at 11 today. I'm going to share the screen on this one. Look at this, though. This is the athleticism. If you want to see an athletic 49er receiver, here he is from minicamp jumping. This was their little drill before. This big tall guy with the do-rag is Isaiah Neyor. I mean, so you're looking at the longest arms. You're looking at a pretty ridiculous athlete right there.
That's a big dude.
He is. I mean, we're talking about almost 6'5", and those arms. Look at the length on the arms.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like the longest. This is one of the biggest, longest armed receiver in the entire league.
Dude, he doesn't need to bend over to tie his shoes. His arms are so long.
Oh, incredible. All right, that's going to do it for us. I'm going to be going live at 11 today with Sam Batesh, and we're going to debate who are the best quarterbacks in the NFL post-draft. Sammy and I always talk national NFL, so we got that coming up. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back together on Friday for another edition of Wake Up. Damon, we'll give you the final thought on the way out the door.
Yeah, we're talking some Warriors at 11 on the Plus. That video will be there for you all day long. And then tonight, when that game goes final, I will be going live from Chase Center for about a half an hour after the Warriors wrap up. So huge game 4 tonight, to say the least. And thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe to both channels if you would, please. Take care of our sponsors. And thank you so very much. And we'll do it again on Friday. Cheers.
Yeah. Everybody give a like and subscribe on their way out the door. As I said, I will be going live with Sam Batesh here at 11. And then after the game tonight, I will have my roundtable, as I always do, on the Warriors with Danny and Frank and whoever wants to show up on post-game. We will have a little post-game tonight. I think Rye's going to be in the house tonight. Looking forward to that. So we'll have the best post-game coming up on the Krug Show. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to everybody. Have a great night. Great day. Enjoy this great May the 12th, and we'll see you later on.